Hello everybody and welcome to the League Zero Super Formula Series, back for round number 3 here from the Redbull ring. It is another couple of races coming to you tonight after last week's sweep of the races by JT Smitten. He's having a very good round at Indianapolis in the officials and in the other leagues as well, actually, that we broadcast here on JPB. JT Smitten had a very good week indeed, taking both the races, becoming the first driver to indeed take both. I think he told us last week that he was unlikely to be here for all of the rounds this season, and indeed he is not, but we do have the return of reigning champion Adam Merchant for the first time this season, alongside those that challenged him last season like Noddy Emil and Jaden Callaway, as well as current series leader Elliott Court. It's a stacked field once again of 24 drivers in a great start to the League Zero Super Formula Championship this season. This is where we're racing the Underfueled by Antonio Grand Prix of Austria, sponsored by Ryan Thibault. In case you don't understand that reference, by the way, a few months ago at a race at Fuji, the cars were slightly underfueled for the feature race and therefore ran out of fuel on the very last lap, and in the end Sergio Joher came through and took a victory with about 5 passes on the last lap, because he'd clearly seen that fuel wasn't going to take him all the way to the line, and he saved enough to get to the end, and fair play to him for that. But we're not going to Fuji this time round. Instead it's the Redbull ring, at which Ryan Thibault has decided to sponsor and indeed gently pull the leg of Antonio Bianchi. It's myself, Ewan, and Dean Biggles alongside me here tonight once again, and it's good to be back alongside you, Biggles. It's a good field once again of 24, and the reigning champion is back again.
Yes, exactly. The Ewan. Oh wow! As you mentioned, you won't forget that underfueled race, won't you? That was one definitely to watch in your highlight reel. And there's currently your driver standings and your team standing. So Elliott Court is the one to beat there. But keep out for these Argentines as well. So Perez is also making himself P2 currently at the moment, with JT and Max filling out your top 4.
Yeah, so JT only did one of the rounds, but he's already up into 3rd place. Shows you where you can get to with some victories. But Elliott Court leading pretty comfortably, and the Kaimata Racing team with Perez and Chablis are going very well in the team. So not particularly close at the moment, but we've got a very, very long way to go. I mean, Noddy Emil in the first 5 rounds last season raced away to a huge lead and then lost the championship by quite a way to Adam Merchant. So it can change very, very quickly indeed. A good evening to JT Smitten, by the way, who is in YouTube chat already. He says he's bummed to miss this race, but he's excited to watch it, and we're excited to watch it as well. I think the Redbull ring is one of those circuits that perhaps provides some of the best racing, actually, of any circuit in Europe. It's not particularly interesting to drive, I must admit, but that I think it's made up for by the racing you get around here.
Yeah, just remember 2 left-hand turns. The rest of it is all right. And one of those tracks, as Callaway goes fastest, but I think Merchant might be looking to replace or dethrone this pole position currently at the moment. Provisionally does by 2 100,000ths of a second, I think it was, something like that. But it's one of those tracks, Ewan, that you can practically go side by side all the way around this relatively short track here in Spielberg.
Yeah, exactly, and that makes it so fun to watch. As you say, Merchant takes the pole at the moment by 0.02 of a second, but who's going to displace him at the end here? Finley Fitzsimmons will be next. He'll be followed by Perez. And Court goes over the line, but he goes no quicker. So it's going to be Fitzsimmons next, then Perez, then ML, I think. He's going to cross the line just in the background. There goes Perez as well. Fitzsimmons didn't improve, and Gonzalo Perez doesn't improve either. Noddy Emil is a bit further back. Jaden Callaway's back to pit lane, so he's not going to improve. There's Antonio Bianchi, who's only just in front of Noddy Emil here. They're running around very close together, the two of them, but they are going personal best. So 2 goes at turning in for the penultimate corner there for Bianchi, and now turning in for the final one, putting a little bit of extra lock in before the run towards the start-finish line. He goes over the line, and he might well improve his position here, Bianchi. He does, 6th place, and in the background, Noddy Emil doesn't improve, and he smashes himself into the wall. But that is a good sign for this race. At least 8 of them within half a second of pole.
Absolutely brilliant. That's what we're going to be expecting in our racing as well too this evening. There is the giant bull statue. It weighs quite a few tonnage actually, but I don't think anybody's going to be lifting it up and chucking it in the back of their pickup truck anytime soon. Here is our starting grid.
Yeah, it's going to be a pole, another one for Adam Merchant here this time round. So 5 different first place starters in the 5 races so far. Jaden Callaway will start alongside with Elliot Court and Philly Fitzsimmons on row 2. Gonzalo Pio Perez and Antonio Bianchi will share row 3, with Nadia Mel and Elliot Rolls, the last drivers, within half a second of pole. Then the gaps get rather larger. Fabian Sanchez and Nick Pearson, then the only others within a second. Sergio Duher and Ryan Thibault on the first row outside of the top 10. In the second half, the grid is headed by Robert Nobles and Jace Meyer in an All-American row 7. James Turnbull and Ray Aguilar the same on row 8. It is Guillermo Paré and Austin Thomas on row 9, headed Xavier Senev and Ignacio Gurkovic, who rounds out the top 20. Toro Mayorga, Nicholas Isidro, Carlos Balinas and Gareth McAllister round out the field. A good evening to Charlie Kilford as well, who's cheering on Elliot Court, and the championship leader starting from third place. He's got some real challenge on his hand with Merchant and Callaway here tonight.
I'm going to be looking forward to it. As you can see, the drivers have been getting ready to load up, and we're going to listen to the sound of the Formula Series here at the League Zero, and that's going to be interesting here in The Sound of Music. That's supposed to be a reference to The Sound of Music, of course, when they filmed that movie many years ago now.
You remember it?
I don't remember it when I was born or anything like that. It was way before my time, but I have seen it. Being a man that's worked in a lot of theatre musicals and things like that, you tend to have to do The Sound of Music at some point in your... wouldn't
career,
say career, yeah. More of a hobby than anything.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah, it's still.
I love the ride up into turn 1. So, what do you think about pole position? It always necessarily isn't always the best position here at Red Bull Ring, is it?
Yeah, if you don't get the good launch off the line, then it is very easy for that guy on the inside. It's Jaden Callaway in this case. Can get alongside, as you can see here. It's not on the outside on the first position, so it can be a problem. And of course, you can get tied up on the contrary. You can get tied up on the inside very quickly as well on the inside curb. So there's no real good place to start here. You've just got to get the good launch, and that's the most important thing here. Whichever side of the front row you end up landing yourself on. It looks like James Turnbull might start from the pit lane unless he's going to make a very late appearance onto the grid here. And pretty much everybody else is ready, but we're just waiting for Turnbull from 15th place at the moment to get onto the grid and get us rolling. Merchant took his time, but he's now there, and so is Turnbull as well, so we're pretty much ready to go. 10 laps in the first race in the Underfield by Antonio Grand Prix of Austria here tonight, and eventually it might get underway. Here we go. 3 minutes indeed elapses of the gridding process, and Adam Merchant has that chance on the way up towards turn number 1 to maintain this lead. Green flag wave from the Grand Prix of Austria, and we are underway, and it is a good launch from Merchant. He's clearing towards turn number 1, and Callaway's got challenges from either side. Nadia Mel goes around the outside, though. Perez had a look down the inside, and he's going backwards here. Philly Fitzsimmons is making... Oh, no! And a crash! Perez involved in it! Oh, my goodness, that's a big crash. Sashi Zuhair is also involved. It's a huge wreck for Perez, who's got barely any of that car remaining. He's hit the wall hard out of turn number 1 on the opening lap.
That's very going to be absolutely very disappointing. It looks like Sanchez is dropping a couple of places back. We're not quite sure there's damage. There's carbon fibre flipped absolutely everywhere out there at the moment. We do have a challenge, of course, for P2 in this one. But the good news, of course, is that Perez will have a shot, of course, at the feature race. But unfortunately, his heat race is done and dusted.
Yeah, Perez is down on pit lane with a meatball, and that'll be that for him, as you say. Sanchez and Zuhair also, you were right to point out, Sanchez does indeed have damage, and that's why he's dropped to the pit lane. So I think I saw somebody else, maybe Finley Fitzsimmons has got damage as well. He's down 4. I wonder whether he was actually involved in the contact that sent Perez off, but we'll check that back in a moment. Indeed, now we will. Yes, that is Fitzsimmons who makes the contact there with Perez, who hits the wall hard, and oh my word, that's Zuhair who collects him initially, and Sergio Zuhair's car is just about as damaged as Perez's was.
Yeah, it looks like Fitzsimmons has gone in as well too, so he must have a bit of damage. There was a few cars that you saw there with a bit of work to do for the crew. We're seeing Elliot Court around too. Elliot Court off the track.
Wow, series leader. Wow, series leader goes off into a spin, and he was in the top 5 before, meaning you're with the top guys, you're going to be with the reverse grid as well, but not anymore. He's going to have to scrap for the minor points at this stage in the race. Robert Noble's crossed up on the curves. He's going to see Turnbull and Austin Thomas also go through. Very American part to the bottom end of the top 10, isn't it? As all the way back from Nick Peterson. Here comes down the inside Austin Thomas. No, doesn't have a look there, and Ryan Thibault tries to follow through. The Canadian trying to follow the Americans through on Robert Nobles, but can't do it. And then you've got Guillermo Paré next involved. He's going to have a look down the inside at the next left-hander and might well get it as well. Very nicely done. So Paré moves up into 12th place, and McAllister will try and do the same. He's already up 10 places.
Comes the Australian driver. Yep, exactly. Taking advantage of the earlier incidents with the rest of the field there and trying to seize as many places. This is where the hot zone is right now, as we're seeing Padet go for up on the inside there of the Canadian, and the Australian sitting up the inside. Actually, my apologies, he has. So there it is, McAllister, the Inca Salsa's number 25 machine, up into P13.
As it goes down the line, a bit of a weave out there from Xavier Seneve, although he maybe should have resisted because he has lost quite a lot of time as a result. Here are the teammates. Gurkovic wants through on Paré, the two Argentines, and Paré is going to let him. He was using a bit of the push to pass there, so he's naturally going to go on through into the 14th position. And meanwhile, Turnbull will try and attack Nicholas Isidro. Here's another one who's made a big start here. Nicholas Isidro up 14 places. We can compliment McAllister for making up 11, but what a start for Isidro, up 14 places into the top 10 in just 2 laps there. Great start for him.
Oh, that's Sanchez there. I was trying to see what happened. We saw there was the incident, wasn't it, at the very start of the race. Let's have a look what happened to Sanchez. Real quick there, while we have an opportunity. Unfortunately, we can't do it after the heat race is done, so you can just see pretty good launch across there. 3 wide into turn 1. You know what happens with that sometimes. They've actually managed to get through there, but this is where the shenanigans happens right there, and continues on from Sanchez.
Gets away with that.
Just wondering if where he gets the damage from, yeah.
Yeah, Fitzsimmons, I think, might be. He's one of those 2 red cars. And indeed, there he is in the red and white on the inside. The redder Ferrari car is not EML. There goes Fitzsimmons into a spin, and that's what takes Sanchez's front wing off. And that's why Fitzsimmons has rear suspension damage as well. He came in for 45 seconds to repair that suspension damage, and he's back out again, although he is in 21st. Meantime, Adam Merchant has to hold on to the lead here from Jaden Callaway, who's giving him a hard time. And he does hold on from that first attack, really, that we've seen for the race lead so far tonight.
And Noddy's come to join this party as well, too, just lurking in the background, using some of that push to pass too to keep with him. Callaway was the fastest man on the track in the last lap at 12.23, just 2 tenths quicker than Merchant, as he did a first of his attacks that he's going to be doing here with essentially 6 laps to 7 laps to go at the moment. You've got not a lot of time in the heat race.
Yeah, and it's another one of those circuits in terms of push to pass as well, where you're going to have to really think about where you use it. Already now with 6 laps to go, you're only looking at 7 minutes remaining in the race, so you've got to really think about your cool down periods. That being, of course, the period at which you take your push to pass off, and then you've got to wait for a minute and a half before you can put it back on again. A minute and a half is nearly 20 seconds longer than a lap round here, so you've got to really think about it. However, the Red Bull Ring is one of those circuits where there's so many places where you can use the push to pass, and it is effective because there's so many straight line periods here that you can use it through. It's other circuits throughout the season that you worry about, like Imola the week after next, Donington Park. You know, those are the kind of circuits where you wonder where I'm actually going to get all of my push to pass used. Here, you're worrying about the opposite. You're worrying about running out early.
That's exactly right. Just seeing if this is going to cool this down for a second with this attack from Callaway. It might be not just yet. Just gives us a quick second to see what happened with Court. Elliot Court, yeah, just on his own, wasn't it? On the exit, I think it was the exit turn 1.
It is the exit turn 1, yeah, and it's that outside curb as well, that anti-cut curb that we'll get a view of here as we follow the leaders through. Sort of a yellow sausage curb on the outside that's really not necessary. Some grass would have done the job, but there you go. He just clips that outside curb and goes into a spin. There are the track conditions, by the way, 29 Celsius on the circuit, and so that's pleasant enough, especially for the middle of May. It's quite cool, in fact, for the middle of May, so that's absolutely fine. I don't think tyre wear is going to be a huge talking point here tonight, if I'm honest with you. This is not a tyre abrasive circuit particularly at all, but everybody will make a tyre change at some point during the feature race, not during this first race.
Where do you get your overtaking around here? You can overtake, but it's also, you're going to put yourself in a difficult position to defend against that as well, because you can't just get the OT and then run away from your opponents. you're going to have to sit there and become defensive. Some drivers don't mind sitting back for a little bit and then choosing to attack on the last dying laps of the race, which we'll have in a couple of laps, no doubt, because we're only on 6, my friend, with 5 to go. And they might just be sitting there lurking and waiting and then using that final push to pass to get the job done.
Yeah, we're getting to that stage again where they can put it on for the remainder of the race. If you want to do that for the entire thing, you do the last 3 laps. If you want to use it all in one go.
Ooh.
Unsure as to whether they've not used it. Oh dear!
Got a little pearl shape there.
What? Dear, oh dear.
Came in a little too hot. Either that or the driver in front of him was coming in a little too slow. That's an interesting one. But Court fighting his way back up at the moment.
He needs to find his way into some points somehow as he goes down the inside of McAllister and gets into 11th. So he is finding some of the minor points here, but it could become absolutely crucial by the end of the season with the likes of Perez picking up solid points again normally, not today of course, but Merchant getting into the fray. We've already seen that you can overcome rounds missing because Smeaton won both races last week. He's 3rd ahead of the next 8 drivers all were at both of the opening 2 rounds, so gives you an idea just how much you can get for winning races in this series. As we go on to 3 laps to go now, the fastest lap of the race so far from Merchant. The pace he's going to pick up here at the very end.
Bit of traffic up the road too. So already coming up to traffic, that'll be the 19th place of Fitzsimmons, who we know has some serious pace as well, but he's just out of position after having that damage repaired on lap 1. Will they catch him in time will be the key. Will he even think about having get those blue flags and completely get out of the way of the battle for the top 3? There's push to pass used currently at the moment for Merchant. He says, well, trying to clear away Mr. Callaway. I'm a pilot, I didn't know it.
I think, there you go, 3 minutes to go. He's going to use it for the remainder of this race now, and so is Callaway as well. So this is why I do question from these leaders sometimes, especially Callaway, it seems to me. Why don't they use the push to pass a little bit earlier? Because if they both just put it on for the last 3 minutes 20 of the race, then there's no benefit really to using it. Obviously, you extend your gap over those behind, as they are doing to Noddy ML at the moment, but where's the advantage for Callaway that he's supposed to be using this push to pass for to get ahead of Merchant? If he uses it at the same time as the guy in front, then he's always going to be finishing behind him or following in his wheel tracks. He does set the fastest lap there, but he's nowhere near close enough for an overtake yet.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's kind of got us puzzled up there. Well, perhaps we had some of the drivers out there in the chat that unfortunately couldn't make it from JT. Maybe JT could give us a question as to why you guys aren't using it a little earlier in this first of our heat races that we generally have here for the League Zero series.
It's very puzzling. They've put it on sort of halfway around lap 8. There's plenty of time for you. Even if you're worried about the cool-down period, you can still use the end of 6 in that situation. So anyway, Elliot Court has been using it clearly to get past, and he's going to put it on now for the end as well, as Ryan Thibault, our race sponsor here tonight at the Grand Prix of Austria, is going to be displaced from this top 10 down the inside for Elliot Court and through indeed into the top 10 as well. So this is a very respectable drive. Overtaking never difficult in this never easy in this series, I should say. And Elliot Court's making it look easy at times here, just rescuing the points that he can, because every one of them will be crucial here.
And he go with Ray. He's an example of a driver that has used it all, because it's the final lap of the race. He's going to have nothing left at this point once he crosses the start-finish line. But then again, it's only one more lap to go anyway. So that point is might just eliminate his final chance of attacking Nick up the road. Both of them, Nick might have a little bit left actually in the... I was going to say in the tank.
He's in a cool-down period.
Yeah. Back up to our race leaders.
So he's missed time, that.
There it is. They're all blinking, my friend. They're all burning it.
It seems completely pointless to me to do this, running in a line or using your push to pass at the end like this. But anyway, I'm not a driver. I remind myself.
23 seconds left. So
he's pretty much timed it to the end of the race. But again, if they're all using it at the same time, there is literally no point. And Merchant is clearly speedy enough to to be able to hold off these attacks at the moment, if that's what we can call these. He's just going to run out towards the end. He's just timed this a little bit better, if anything, actually, because it's only the final couple of corners where he's going to be missing it for here at a Merchant. Still flashing red, and it will disappear, that light above his head, as he comes out across the line here. But he's going to see the checkered flag first, and race 1 of the Grand Prix of Austria goes to Adam Merchant. He brings home Callaway and ML right behind him. He won't get the fastest lap point at the end. That will go to Jaden Callaway, which he'll be very pleased about. Maybe that's what all this was a ploy for, but I find it difficult to believe Callaway wasn't going for the race win there. And in the end, I think his tactics were slightly left wanting a little bit. You want to see a battle for the race lead, and I'm not sure Callaway gave himself the best chance there.
We do have an answer out there for JT as well. Yeah, Ewan, as to our question. Thank you very much for answering that as well.
I'll just read it out and we'll discuss it in the warm-up in a moment, because obviously the race is about to finish and the session's about to advance, but we will have a warm-up session between the two where we'll talk it over about the end of that first race, and we'll just analyse that battle between the front three and what might indeed happen in the second race. But let's bring the race results first of all at the end of race number 1 in the Underfield by Antonio Grand Prix of Austria here tonight. It's Adam Merchant who wins by 4 tenths in the end, ahead of Jaden Callaway, with Noddy ML on the podium. Antonio Bianchi and Elliot Rolls will share the front row as the reverse grid takes place for race 2. Nick Peterson was next, holding off Ray Aguilar, with the next group headed by Nicholas Isidro. Elliot Court very nearly got past him. A great recovery tonight for him, ahead of James Turnbull, who rounds out the top 10. Race sponsor Brian Thibault finished 11th, just in front of Gareth McAllister. The biggest mover forward apart from Nicholas Isidro, who finished in 8th. Austin Thomas was next, ahead of Xavier Sinead, the last driver within a half minute of the win. Arturo Mayorga rounded out top 15, ahead of Chase Mark, Guillermo Parry and Robert Nobles, running out the lead lap. Finley Fitzsimmons 1 lap down in the end after his early incident. He got out of the way very nicely, actually, for the front 3 as they were coming past. Carlos Balinas, Ignacio Gorkovitz, Fabian Sanchez, Gonzalo Perez and Sergio Deher had to retire early with their 2 separate incidents. Those 5 caught up in just 2 separate incidents. Let's get to JT's comments, shall we, and talk this one over a little bit. He says he thinks the reason why drivers don't tend to use it earlier is because they'd rather maintain their position than risk getting overtaken at the end when someone else has OT on. Overtake, I guess. That's what I mean. We've been calling it push to pass. I don't actually know what the right terminology is. But anyway, when somebody else has the overtake on and you don't, fair enough. I can see that point of view, but it does feel all a little bit sort of safe and conservative, doesn't it? I'd like to see them go for the win, to be honest. But, I can understand it from that point of view as well, especially Jaden Callaway, who was realistically going to be a championship contender by the end of this season. He'll want to be there, and throwing away needless points trying to win a race that he's not going to win is not a great idea. So I can understand it from his perspective, but of course we'd like to see the big battle for the win.
Yeah, and of course a big shout out there. Charlie said to Elliot Court makes it look like child play. It's not child play at all to drive these cars. But, I guess he does make it look easy having to do that fantastic recovery drive. There's the big bull statue. Once again, I can't remember much of weight. I think I looked it up at some point. It's a little bit of trivia that we could throw out there to the audience. But we're in our little warm-up session of just 5 minutes or so. Just a couple of drivers have elected to come out and do their warm-ups of Sergey, Austin Thomas. But the rest of the drivers are all practically just happy to sit back in their garage there. And maybe just they're also probably reviewing some of the tape of race 1 and seeing where there's opportunities perhaps to get the overtake, or perhaps where they can start to use some of that overtake button, push to pass at some places. But of course we'll have that pit stop, won't we, this time around to spice and dice things up a little bit.
I just googled it, by the way, in terms of the weight. I haven't found a reputable source, but someone on the internet, whether you trust this or not, I'm going to doubt it, but anyway. The sculpture's weight is approximately 1,300 tons. 1,000 or 1.3 tons.
1.3 tons.
Which one's?
I'd say.
1.3, not 1,300 tons. That's absolutely. I don't. That's massive, isn't it? That's not true.
You'd have to build a massive foundation in, wouldn't you, just to support it on that one? Yeah.
Between the horns' tips are a 7-meter distance. It's big, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even between the horns, it's 7 metres. Anyway, getting slightly sidetracked here. And I'm not even sure if that's true or not. As I say, that's not a source. The only thing that came up when I typed into Google was the one in New York, but that's obviously not the one we're trying to
they have one in New York?
work out the weight of. Apparently that's pretty heavy as well. Who knew?
Oh, you mean the Statue of Liberty?
No, the Charging Bull in New York.
Oh.
It's not a very famous sculpture, but it's the first thing that comes up in Google. Obviously, Google's American, so it thinks everything, the whole world is contained within America.
You know, there's a google.co.uk version, right?
Yeah, well, I hope so. Anyway, that's 7,100 pounds or 3,200 kilograms. The Charging Bull in New York. There you go. Anyway, it's getting very sidetracked with bull trivia.
Now we're at the reverse grid. What are you thinking about here? We've seen it before, haven't we, for some of the drivers that like to go into pit road early just to get out of all the potential shenanigans and or potentially get slowed up by a lot of cars up ahead. Do you think we're going to see some circumstances of early pit stops here this evening?
Maybe Court or Fitzsimmons because they're back in the pack. I actually think Court maybe not because he's going to be getting through the... there it is again. He's going to be getting through the field quite nicely, I think, based on what we saw in race number 1. And his overtaking prowess is going to take him past that. But Fitzsimmons definitely might take on a pit stop. He's going to start this race from 19th, as we're about to see here in this grid. I'll just read out the top 5 because they're reversed. Elliott Rawls, Antonio Bianchi, Nadia Milk, Jaden Callaway and Adam Merchant finished in the top 5 in the first race. They will be tipped on their head for race 2. The rest of them will be placed where they where they finished race 1, and so that will scroll through on your screen, including Fitzsimmons, who will be 19th. I think he really could go for an early stop because tyre wear's not that severe, so you're going to pay for it less later on in the day than you otherwise might in some of the other tracks. So that's what my prediction would be, but not for the front 5. I think there could be a bit of a waiting game early, but let's see what goes on here from the Red Bull Ring in the Underfield by Antonio Grand Prix of Austria. 32 laps in our feature race tonight, and we are underway with a great start from Elliott Rawls off the front and a fanning out in the background. Fitzsimmons will be involved in the middle of that, by the way. Let's see if there's any incident further behind. ML round the outside for second. He'll take that away from Antonio Bianchi. Merchant and Callaway get through cleanly as well, although Adam Merchant immediately ahead of Jaden Callaway. McAllister has found himself at the back, and he's got a meatball as well. Xavier Senev is off out of turn number 1 as well. It looks like there's been a bit of trouble in the bottom third of the field, but for the leaders, it's been a clean start again.
Merchants might be making a place up at the moment too on Blanchie. Elliott Rawls still in that P2. Nottingham Mel in the lead of this one, getting a couple of positions off the start. Yeah, about a 4-car incident at the back there. We'll go back and have a look at that when things start to calm down a little bit.
Yeah, with Nottingham Mel who leads ahead of Elliott Rawls. Great start from Mel, who got ahead of Bianchi into turn 1 and ahead of Rawls fairly soon after as well. Merchants in front of Callaway and Bianchi pretty quickly, and Bianchi might have just given that up to Callaway actually very, very quickly there, because that was quickly losing places. Elliott Court only up to 7th place. We're expecting him to make up some more actually, but he has made 2, so fair enough. That's not a bad start at all. He's now behind Aguilar, who's now in a cool down period, and if Court wants to use some early push to pass here, he'll have a very easy pass for 6th place if he wants it.
You have to say so far so good for most of the shenanigans that happen here at Red Bull, but here comes Merchant on the power, trying the early attack currently at the moment, down into the kink of turn 3, up the hill. This is what I really would class as this is what I class as essentially turn 2. Overtaking opportunities, looking behind too. Elliott Rawls under massive pressure from Callaway too.
And Callaway's going to go straight through there with the push to pass on. Merchant tries to give the slipstream to Rawls to try and prolong that battle to his big rival here tonight, but he's not going to manage that. And they're up to 2nd and 3rd already. I wonder whether we're going to see another sweep here tonight as Adam Merchant run race 1. I wonder whether we'll do the same in race 2 as Turnbull's off the road now, down into the gravel at turn 4.
Yeah, I saw something happening there as well. But we will go back and have a look at that one too. We're going to get back in some tape in a little bit and just see what's all the shenanigans that have occurred. But first of all, just don't want to miss some of this live battles. Otherwise, once again, we'll just be looking at replays all night long, won't we? We'll miss half the live action because it's going to come thick and fast here in Spielberg.
Elliot Rolls with a yellow marker next to his name. Is that being slow down or something? Because
that'll be a slow down.
Yeah,
we'll have to do.
Yeah, through the final corner as well is where you're going to pick one up. Bianchi goes a little bit wide. That'll be an off track, but nothing as bad as slow down penalty. It doesn't seem to be affecting Rolls too much at the moment, and of course it is scaled to how bad the off track is. So it doesn't look like Rolls is being affected too much by that. As Ray Aguilar and Elliot Court battle away, he said that Elliot Court might well find that an easy pass, but even with Aguilar getting his push to pass back again, he is not going to be able to put up resistance to Elliot Court, who's now up to 6th place. Fitzsimmons is in pit lane already, and only 11 seconds down on pit lane as well. I wonder whether he got damage, or whether indeed he's doing the thing that you were previewing, an early pit stop to get him out of the traffic.
Quite possibly. Let's have a look at turn 1 with Elliot Court here. So he's got off the track here to avoid some of the action there. As you can see, very, very lucky. Didn't get into the front wing. This is what happened further at the back there with McAllister as well.
It's 4 wide.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Argy-barginess, isn't it? Lost the rear wing. And then there's also contact, I think, with Ryan on that one. And further back, there's Padette. This is by himself, actually. This is a spin, so I'm not quite sure. Heading into pit road.
Oh, it's pit lane again. Oh, no! Oh, my goodness me! He's over the tyre barrier and he's upside down. Who did he hit there coming into pit lane?
Somebody's drastic.
Oh, it's a very late call, but even so.
Yep.
Goodness me.
There we go. Well, that's not going to buff out. Oh, Callaway on Merchant as well too. Up there, what's happened? Merchant's off.
Merchant's off.
He's off behind the wall. I can't
see. It's turn 4, and he spun to the inside. I wonder whether that's on his own or whether there was contact with Callaway. But race 1 winner Adam Merchant is not going to be winning race 2 by the looks of things. He spins out of turn 4, and he's down to 14th. It is on his own.
And he's got to patiently wait. Oof. Very close to an unsafe rejoin there.
Yeah, he should have waited, but he just went really there. Very nearly caused a bit of an accident, but thankfully we get away with it as we go on board with Elliot Court again here up through the right-hander at the top of the hill through turn number 1, and on the way towards turn 3. Will there be a chance for Elliot Court? Another place maybe in the offing here, down the inside of fellow British driver Elliot Rolls, and straight through Elliot Court, so up to 4th position. He's having a very good race so far.
Yeah, and these two had a bit of a switcheroo. Sanchez up 12 there, Austin Thomas for the Team 1 Tsunamis. You got Jace Meyer there, Sajay and Adam Merchant trying to put some pressure on his. Merchant trying to fight his way back through here as well too. After down 8 places, sends one up the inside into turn 4 or 5, I don't know. They count those little kinks as turns around here. Just so they can have some more turns, I can imagine.
Yeah, they don't have many anyway, so they need to get some more in somehow. But yeah, they do add them in. This is Isidro Peterson and Perez going 3 wide.
Oh,
that's
you can't
brave.
make that stick,
and it's contact. It was never going to work. 3 wide. It was brave and commendable from Perez, who wants to make places as quickly as possible. And you can see why after what he had in race 1, but that was too brave almost.
I suppose he can get it. Yeah. Wow. Fantastic racing, that's for sure. A lot of midfield racing where drivers are out of place, essentially, as you're going to see Merchant try to make up another place here. He's down 8, of course, as you're overtaking opportunities at the top of the hill.
See whether or where Merchant can get to indeed. His tyres shouldn't be too affected by that spin, really. It's not too warm today, as we commented earlier. It's in fact gone down from the sprint race conditions, so those tyres really should be fine. Zuhair and Jason Meyer, meantime, who I think were caught up in the lap 1 incident on the first race, are together again, and this is a group right the way from Perez. Oh, and another spin, this time for Austin Thomas.
Yeah, that was a strange one coming out of the corner, wasn't it? That's all by himself. Heaps it out of the fence, but luckily there's a lot of runoff area there.
just shows you that, you know, the traction in this car is very, very difficult, and that's been proven many a time. Merchant did it earlier on, and now Thomas, just a corner later, a few laps later, does the same thing as Nicholas Isidro gets into the back of Nick Peterson here. This is the battle on the group from Perez, although Gonzalo Perez is getting away from these guys. It's going to be left to the Americans to fight over this, because Sanchez has joined them behind as well. Sanchez into the top 10 now, up 12 places on where he started. He's had a brilliant start as well as Perez, because Sanchez started 22nd, Perez started 23rd, and they're now really in 7th and 10th positions.
Elliott Corder mounting an attack, but we're going to also see Sanchez up 12 places on a charge back through the field here for the American number 8. And he's got Nicholas, who's still looking for a team. That's the team name. Looking for a team. As he's battling up Nick. So Sanchez has got to sit back and be careful with this one, as these two are battling, and you've got to try to send 3 wide action. Will be very difficult around here. The Red Bull ring.
That was pretty tight. But Merchant is going to say thanks very much for that, because he's back in the top 10 again, and he even pulls into the racing line in time for the opening corner, so he gets out of it. And here he comes on Peterson as well. He's in a cool down period with his push to pass, so he's not going to be able to use any of that yet. He goes to the outside there. That's all he's been shown really, in towards turn 3. He brakes late-ish. Oh, he's got himself alongside. Has he got himself through? He should have the slipstream here from Isidro, who's going to give this one to him. That's a puzzling strategy from Nicholas Isidro there to give Merchant the slipstream, not Peterson. Maybe he just wants to give it to the outside car so they can keep battling for a little bit longer, and it's worked. In fact, he's kept them side by side quite nicely here, and Merchant tries to go around the outside on Peterson. He's going to struggle to get himself in front properly, isn't he? And towards the right-hander, still there. Look at that from Peterson. He is still in line, outside line. He can't now. He has to give it up. Merchant's into 8th. But what a battle that was, as Antonio Bianchi's hit the wall somewhere. He has got a meatball flag, and he's back to pit lane again for the 2nd week in a row in the feature race.
Oh, that's very, very unfortunate. I think, it looked like Elliott Corder got past him as well, too. Oh, Perez has had a spin there. Whoa! On the exit of the final turn. Well, that's a little bit of a Code Brown moment for those drivers. So on the loud pedal. We're losing some Top Guns just like that in one lap, my friend.
Yeah, so we'll have a look at Bianchi and Perez incidents in a moment. But 3 wide nearly here for 8th place. Sanchez, Peterson and Zuhair, and there goes Merchant in front of Isidro. That's not too difficult. Nicholas Isidro knows the score with this battle. Sanchez gets in front meantime, ahead of Peterson. Zuhair still where he is in 10th position at the moment as they run down in towards turn 4. They will get away with that, and Merchant will continue on in 6th place now. He'll continue to try and make his way through the field, but Antonio Bianchi involved in another incident. He's yet to score a point in a feature race this season, and he's hit the wall again. It's through the double left-hander at turn 6 and 7 where he's come unstuck this time.
And this is what's happened to Perez. It's just lost it on the exit. Usually you lose it on the inside apron, don't you? You kind of slide back down on the inside and you'll hit the fence there near pit garage. But unfortunately, that's not the case there for the Argentine, and his race is done.
Yeah.
Black flag
he's
for
out,
Thomas.
Unfortunately. Yeah. So he's in pit lane. Austin Thomas. Oh, and he just about slows it down in time. That was a real lock-up.
Well, Noddy's back, and Noddy's back in the lead of this race at the moment, but for how long? Because Elliott Court seems to be one of the quickest drivers out there to fight his way back in the heat race, but now he's right up the front with clean air. He's putting some banker laps in. He's done a 12 flat almost. We'll see. I'm pretty sure, I'd imagine some of these drivers are going to start getting in that 11 club.
Is Peterson looking down the inside of Isidro, who's recently lost his place to Merchant and Sanchez, don't forget, and he's going the wrong way as things stand. He's got to turn that round and try and stop the rot at the moment. Amel sets the fastest lap of the race out front, by the way. He's still leading Callaway by a couple of seconds. Relatively comfortable at the front of the field as we get to 1/3 distance on lap 11. We've now done the distance that we did in the sprint race. We continue on for 22 more laps, and of course we tear towards the pit stop phase, which is expected around halfway through the race. Only really Fitzsimmons has gone for an early scheduled pit stop, and I'm not even 100% certain whether it was scheduled or not. James Turnbull has just come in as well. I think that might be scheduled for him as well, and so maybe it'll be our second scheduled pit stop of the day.
Yeah, a lot of the other drivers are either out or absolutely damaged, as you can see, which is a lot of the field down in the back there. But this is where the action's been, the hot zone that you throw a blanket over, as the Americans like to say, from Sanchez down, from Merchant actually. He's trying to pull a little bit, but Merchant, Sanchez, Nicholas and Nick. Not too much happening at the front there. They're all separated by a couple of seconds each, as you can see. Noddy just at the fastest laps. He's now in the 11.88 club. I knew it wouldn't take him too long to get down to the 11s. And we do have, of course, one of the drivers out there in the chat. So, yeah, got to watch it here with you guys, because he's it's a shame he's not out on track. Of course, that's one of the Argentine drivers, Padet. Have we got that right, Padet? You can let us know if we are pronouncing your name correctly.
Yeah, you can let us know what the situation is there, but yeah, it's unfortunate that so many have retired already from this race. Believe we may indeed be down to 18 in the field, quarter of the field gone. Ignacio Gorkovic seems to have had a spin out of turn 4 and locks it up and avoids the wall at least, although goes for a secondary spin hit. Still running in 13th place, so at least is still running, and just about avoided there by whoever that was.
Yeah. Couple of really close calls on the it wasn't really a rejoin for him, it was just trying to recover. A couple of very close calls. Some big accidents that we saw earlier in this race too, and the heat one. Sprint. Sajay now, he's up 14 places. He's the second biggest gainer in this race. Sanchez is running a P7. He's the biggest gainer at 15 places up, so... And I'd have to imagine we'll be switching the cameras up very soon, because Merchant's on the back of Ray, who's the 72 up the road there. And you can imagine that Merchant will not be too kind to be sitting behind the 72 fellow countryman for too long.
Let's see what Merchant decides to do here. He surely is going to just roar past his lap car, though, that might just stop him, and hopefully just gets out the way in time. There goes Merchant up back into the top 5 as well. So you can clearly see in this second race that the speed of the drivers actually does win out over everything. And maybe that's why not many people go for an early pit stop, because they know that their speed generally is going to give them the positions a little bit later. But even Merchant dropping down to 14th place after his spin is not that many laps later. He's gained 9 positions. He's back in the top 5 again. I think it's quite clear the top 5 are probably a leg up on the rest of the field at the moment.
Yeah, Elliott Court might be pushing a little bit too hard. This is a little off-track moment for Elliott. Unless that's counted as an off-track, that's probably it. They only slowed him down about shy of a second. But it gives you an indication out there that he's really, really pushing. He wants to get himself that gap reduced. He's about currently 5.3 seconds off our race leader of Noddy. Yeah, it's
Noddy O'Mell and Jaden Callaway's race to lose at the moment. One of the two of them. Only a second and a half apart as things stand. And it's going to set up for a good race up there, I think, as Peterson continues to try and overtake Nicholas Isidro. They can continue to get quicker, by the way. No refueling in this series, only tyre changes, so expect the laps immediately after the stops to be very, very fast indeed. As Peterson had a little bit of push to pass there, small burst. He's still got about 2.5 minutes to go, but he still can't get through into 8th position.
Yeah, going off the racing line on the inside like that, as you can see, gets you a lot closer to that car until you put the power down, and then of course you start seeing the car zooming off in the distance. So you do sacrifice your entrance there. You'll gain on your entrance, but you'll sacrifice your exit. That's just a common thing that happens at the top of the hill here in Austria. But you are also playing mind games, Ewan, as you know. You're trying to throw your opponent off. You're trying to force them to a bit of mirror driving as well too, so that they then have to try to react, perhaps take their eyes off their braking points for a split second while they're looking in their mirrors and make a mistake. That's what these drivers try to do, as Merchant sets the fastest lap now of 11.63. But then again, the leaders up there, They're doing 11.8s, 11.64s, 11.97s too. So it's a little chunk, but
Yeah.
hey, you need everything you can at the moment. Just over approaching halfway of the race.
Callaway was 13 thousandths slower that lap, so it's not exactly a big gain for Merchant there. Less than 2 tenths gained on Noddy ML as well. As Peterson looks down the inside of Isidro, that was tight. And here comes Zuhair in the background. They are teammates, Peterson and Zuhair, in the Arrive and Drive racing team, I believe. Anyway, they're in the same livery as they come down in towards turn 4 again. He can't get past at the moment, and Jason Myers just behind them as well. This is by far the most lively group in the field. Finney Fitzsimmons will be hoping they all pit before he gets there. He's 15 seconds behind them though, so he shouldn't have too much concern. He'll be ahead of all of them though as a result of his early pit stop here tonight, made on just lap 2. Still unsure as to whether it was scheduled or unscheduled, but it's going to work out quite well. It's going to give him a top 8 position anyway.
Yes, he is currently the leader of the field on pit stops, that is. James behind him. Turnbull, he's had a pit stop as well as Robert Nobles has had 2 pit stops actually. They went down there, but they'll be hoping to regain some of those positions when the rest of the field manage to come in at some point.
Let's see, as ML gets an off track, so does Callaway. They go to less than a second apart though, as another look down the inside of Peterson, this time more decisive. And he goes through into 8th position. Isildur's got to make sure now this doesn't become 1, becomes 2, becomes 3, because they are queuing up behind him at the moment. Here comes Zuhair in the background. He's got the push to pass on here. He takes it off just before the braking zone, and it's not quite enough. When the driver in front of you's got slipstream like that, it is always difficult.
Yeah, and you're approaching it at a higher speed that you usually would be without it as well. So you've got to be sharp to also make sure you slap on the brakes a fraction of a second a little earlier than what you usually would.
Yeah, got to be very careful you don't run into the back of the guy in front of you as well. It's all to figure out and just calculate as they do.
Pit stops.
Dear me, that was close. Goodness. Isidro and Zuhair come in, and Jace Meyer very nearly ran them both over there. It's a very awkward pit entry here. He just perfectly calculated that, Jace Meyer. That was the halfway lap, by the way. So these guys are now into the second half of the race, and this battle for the lead is hotting up.
It is, because Noddy actually went off the track a little bit, only about another second or so, probably something that was similar to Court before, just kicking up a little bit of dirt. But that's allowed now Callaway to just get a little bit closer. And all it takes, because you know how close they're evenly matched practically on lap times, well, that's when those little mistakes start creeping in. That's when all of a sudden your opponent has to seize the opportunity and attack, and that's what Callaway certainly will. But of course, we'll be thinking about pit stops right now. There it is. Now, how smooth is he going to be in here? That looks
maybe
pretty
a little
technical.
bit early.
You think?
But pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. Callaway, we'll see where he comes out in terms of traffic in a moment when we rejoin him. Zuhair and Isidro have pitted to get out of traffic and come out with each other, which is just comical almost. Oh, and contact! Oh, wow, he got away with that, actually, does Isidro there. That should have been contact that sees him off the circuit, and he might have damage here. He does have rear suspension damage. Goodness me, these cars are fragile. That was small contact, and unfortunately, Isidro seems to have suspension damage there, rear right.
So just interesting. There's Callaway now. He's back in P7 after taking his pit stop. So he's clearly got a couple of cars between himself there and Fitzsimmons and P10, who's already taken his pit stop. Noddy had a little slowdown as well to that little yellow flag that popped up, so a little off-track excursion. He does not need that. He's on that push to pass as well. He does not need. Maybe he's just pushing a little bit too much to try to cover off, obviously, Callaway's pit stop that he'd done earlier. So this is going to be interesting here for the Ferrari livery driver as he does hit in. This has got to be perfect pit stop. This is going to be essentially, well, he's in a Ferrari livery. He doesn't need a Ferrari essential pit stop, does he? Court comes in behind him.
Yep. Surprised that Cook comes in, actually. I would have carried on if I were him, but anyway, he comes in, and we're getting towards the halfway stage in the race anyway, so they're all coming in here. Rolls is in, so is Merchant as well, who closes right up to Elliot Rolls, so that's going to be a battle when they come out. Aguilar and Sanchez in as well, so the field's going to be cleansed here. ML comes to a stop. He's back going again already. Where is Callaway going to be as he comes across the start finish line? It's a very narrow exit here, don't forget, so ML's got to get out quickly as he can without hitting the wall, and it's a good gap that he's got as well. It will will normalise at less than 2 seconds, but he's gained time there, Nod ML, in the pit stop phase. His pit stop was 0.8 of a second shorter, and clearly his in lap was very strong as well.
Yeah, must have. Yep, been absolutely pushing. So he'll be happy with that, certainly. Good pit stop there from the team. He got it done right. Chase Meyer's one out of place at the moment for the 77 running in P3. He's down the road there, but he's going to be under a bit of attack there, you'd say, from Elliott Court. And then Adam Merchant. Fitzsimmons still after those pit stops. See, he's in that P7 position, so he's up 12.
Yeah.
You'd have to give it... well, I'm going to say he's probably still one of the biggest gainers in this race, as well as Sanchez. But it's interesting now to see how it's on. Black flag, of course, too, from Ray. So what's happened here? Speeding in pit road.
These black flags seem to be clearing without any sort of anything being done, really, unless I'm not following them close enough. But
it could be cleared by automatic iRacing I-flags, so it's a possibility that could be cleared. As Jace Meyer comes in finally for his only, but hopefully to him, only last pit stop here this evening.
Yes,
unless they're going to run out of fuel later.
Longest of the field, but it's now into pit lane, so. Jace Meyer will drop behind Fitzsimmons as well, actually. Fitzsimmons will now gain 13 places on the day and be into 6th place, although I think he celebrates by going slightly wide there, and he's actually behind Elliott Rolls as well. So it's been a great drive from Fitzsimmons, although the problem, of course, is going to be that his second set of tyres will do 30 laps.
Yes, exactly. But he's got the speed. But, Elliott Rolls is the Scotsman up the road there, and he's certainly just not going to move over and just let you through. I think Ray's had a spin or something too, because he's come out of pit road and, whoa, he's come out of pit road hard, my friend. He just came in, remember? So, I imagine, as he's come out of pit road there was the exit. He's come up the turn 1, and I think something has not stopped. Yeah, that's definitely something has not stopped, my friend. Oh, that's punishment. I'd say something's broken in there, isn't it? So let's have a look at the steering wheel. Is it turning? It's turning here. And then... I know. Surely couldn't be upset with anybody.
That looks like a technical failure, doesn't it?
Yeah. Fitzsimmons is in again.
Okay, so it wasn't planned, and he feels he needs another set of tyres before he gets to the end of the race. His pit stop was a bit longer as well, anyway, at 11 seconds, so he does need a new set of tyres. He's been running out on his own for a long time, which will have helped him, but look at the places he's about to lose here. It's so congested at this part of the field here that Peterson, Zuhair, Meyer, Isidro will all get past very quickly there, and he won't have much time left in this race to try and re-overtake them.
See what happens with teammates here. Yeah, it does look like it's a technical issue. So we had some sort of control there. I mean, we shouldn't be frustrated with anything, isn't it, to want to do it, because we didn't see any contact with any other drivers earlier as well. How to push to pass there from Sajay. She's running on empty, mate, isn't it? The red light on top.
We've pushed to pass already, is he?
Yes, the red light's on.
Oh, he's low. He's not out yet, but he's low.
Yeah.
I think less than 20 seconds, I think. Less than 30, something like that. But yeah, I mean, even at that point, less than 20 or 30 seconds, that's very, very low at this stage in the race. When it runs out, by the way, the light shuts off completely. So
right.
Look out for that fairly soon from Sajid Zuhair, because clearly he's very low.
Well, he's going to have to probably force Nick into a mistake up the road there, because Nick's using it now to... I don't know if he's got the call up or he's just listened to us on the broadcast and says, "Oh, really? Oh, okay. He's out. Then I'm just going to probably burn a bit of mine. Try to clear that distance." Not quite sure. Showing a black flag up there for Nicholas, but we're not 100% confident whether those black flags once again are just an iRacing. Geez, you want iRacing AI gods perhaps issuing flags? Barney's got controls now. Oh, I tell you what, he's still attacking.
Yeah, he is. Another look from Zuhair there on the inside of Peterson, but still can't get through. And the pit stops have just spread this group apart a little bit here. It has meant that they're not queuing up behind each other like they were earlier on. They're just battling away in pairs now. And in fact, Meyer and Isidro are not even together anymore either. Zuhair seems to be struggling a little bit in the dirty air. They're looking about steering lock he was using there in the dirty air there Peterson. That's not good news for his front tyres, although he does have some new tyres on, which will help out a little bit.
Elliot Rolls has gone off the track a little bit. That's the reason why you're going to see that little yellow flag that's popped up on the screen next to his name. That's an off-track excursion here. He doesn't need that, does he, with a Sanchez is 6 seconds down the road. Who was that behind you? Just trying to see where this...
Nobles? No, that wouldn't work. No.
Quite sure where that off-track excursion
this is earlier. That's
so
Billy
like 20.
Fitzsimmons behind him before he stopped. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. That's why it got a little confusing out there. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you if you do like, of course, the racing action, please subscribe if you enjoy the racing entertainment here on the JP Broadcaster Network. And of course, if you do want to be a part of the League Zero Formula Series, we go to League Zero website information in the description below us. This is one of the closest battles, but it is the closest battle. I can't see Nicholas on track here at the moment, my friend. Show him in the timing tower as being in P12, but that's not the situation.
No, he might have disconnected because he was about a third of the way around a lap when he disappeared. So unfortunately, I think he might have disconnected here, and it's going to lose a couple of places. Might be down to 13 tonight. It's been a very attritional race, and not a circuit you expect to see attritional racing at, actually. But that's what we've seen so far tonight. A very, very attritional one.
I don't know how much that the push to pass that these drivers have at the moment remaining here. What can they do? What can Callaway do to hunt down Noddy? You've got to say Court, even though he's done a superb drive back through the field in the first heat, and he's up 6 in this race as well, but 9 seconds off the race lead is a lot of time. He basically needs these two drivers at the moment to start racing together wheel to wheel, forcing them to essentially go a little bit slower and allowing Court to perhaps clean up on aisle 8, and aisle 8 being 8 remaining laps in this race.
I think, unfortunately for Court, more likely is that he's going to be caught by Merchant and dragged into a battle for third place, because Adam Merchant is closing in now. And again, Merchant won the first race, and I think even maybe more impressively has shown very good resolve in this second one. He's gained 10 places from where he got down to after his spin out of turn 4 earlier on. He'll be kicking himself about that spin, but again, it's good pace and good resolve shown by him to get back into this position here.
This is probably the reason why Nicholas is no longer in the race that we're seeing. This is a crash. Oh. That's the same one that we saw before, isn't it? I'm all confused now.
Either that's a technical fault or that's intentional. Same as Ray Aguilar, I guess.
Yeah, it was. That looks intentional now. Two drivers doing that, isn't it? Robert Nobles has come off the track too.
Another meatball flag. Oh, and he's not concentrating. I don't think that was intentional, but he was just looking at his relative or something, looking at something else, and he's driven onto the grass. And of course, these cars get away from you very quickly once you're running down the grass. So that's put him into the wall, and we're down to just 12 in this race by looks of things. Ryan Tebow's going to be able to pick up a few more points by just continuing on with the crashes of Isidro and Nobles in the last couple of moments. So he has made tonight worthwhile in the race. He is sponsoring, of course, tonight in the Underfueled by Antonio Grand Prix of Austria. Here comes Merchant having another look on Elliott Court. This the battle for third place in the final 6 laps.
Yeah, 2 battles actually forming, because you can see Callaway is getting it down to under a second now on Noddy, so it's going to be a fantastic finish to this race. He saw a squirrel, apparently JT said out there. Thank you. Well, it did kind of quiet out a little bit with these race leaders after those pit stops, but I'll tell you what, we're going to come to a thunderous end to this race, hopefully, with some 2 fantastic great battles for P1 and a fantastic battle for P3 here.
And we've got a number of pairs to look forward to at the very end here, as Sanchez has found himself off the circuit from 6th place. So maybe, and he's dropped back to pit lane as he crashed here. Sanchez, it looks like he might have, he's missing his front left wheel, isn't he? Or are we just looking from an extended
I think
view there? Oh, he has had a... Goodness me, that looks like it. Oh, yeah, he's got no control over that car. That's got more the look of a technical fault.
What's happened? Are these squirrels running out on the track everywhere and scaring these drivers into mistakes? Yeah. So there's the current battle for P3, as you can see in your pictures, as Merchant's trying to bring in Court. And then there's the up the front there, so Callaway just trying to hunt down Noddy for the race win. They do have time, of course, 6 laps or so. Let's keep applying that pressure. We're not sure how much of that overtake button that they have to use, but at the moment, doesn't see any of them are electing to use it at this point, my friend.
Yeah, it'd be so good to have that data at that point, wouldn't it? I'm sure it will come at some point in the future where we'll be able to work that out, but for the moment we have no idea until they're actually using it and the seconds are counting down on their steering wheel. We can also see it on our spectator view as well. We'll see what Merchant's got here actually as he's on the button himself on the way up the hill. And look at that, 3 minutes. Wow, 5 laps to go in 3 minutes. He's going down the inside, looking for third. Oh, it's close. Court wants to just shovel him off into the inside there as he tries to keep him on a narrow line. And Court's going to respond with a bit of push to pass of his own here. On the outside line, he's got his nose in front though as Adam Merchant, and he might well have his podium place as well. Outside, again, Merchant just shoves him out wide a little bit. Court is hold firm though. He's still on the inside then for the next left-hander. He's still there. 2 minutes of push to pass remaining for him. He's got 1 minute less than Merchant. That could haunt him later. Side-to-side contact. They're so close as Merchant goes round the outside again. It's a brilliant pass from Adam Merchant. Race 1 winner, and he holds on to the 3rd place this time round, but Court's not done yet. Oh, he's having another go in towards the final couple of corners. What a great fight between these two, and Merchant's on the podium again.
This is what Spielberg produces, doesn't it? As I said, you can get side-by-side action practically throughout the whole track. Usually those final couple of corners, you don't really dare to do too wide too much, but for the rest of the track you can. And certainly, let's see whether or not Court on the slipstream there, using that overtake button that they both are, can see if he can come back and try to retake that P3 position, that podium position up for grabs here.
That was absolutely brilliant stuff between the two, wasn't it? Absolutely fantastic.
And then we might see it again here from Callaway. Let's see if he can pull off the same situation that we saw. Now, we knew those drivers have plenty of push to pass usually overtake, which is fantastic. So they're saving the best for last, just like this racing entertainment is being saved for the best for last. Let's see what's going to happen here. How they're going to respond. Whoa, both from an off-track excursion.
And that's easy to do when you're Callaway in this situation. You're following the driver in front of you. Very easy to just go out wide with them, as Jaden Callaway did just there. But goodness me, this is a big battle for the win now. Noddy ML is looking to win a race for the first time this season. Don't forget, he wasn't at the opening round of the season, but he did score 18 points from Indianapolis. All of them coming in the sprint race. He didn't score any in the feature, but he might be about to score them all in the feature race if he can hold on from Callaway. 3 laps to go, and neither of them on the button just yet.
Saving the best for last, I'd have to say. Well, just going back to that, the amount of time that they have, maybe iRacing don't want to release that data because obviously they could use software like what we're using and stuff like that, and give that juicy information to their race engineers, and then they can be aware of their other teams' tactics. That's a possibility.
But I mean, it's not hard to work out. You just have to wait for the push to pass to be used. So, you know, and personally, I don't see anything wrong with everyone having access to the information. It makes for more interesting tactical racing, in my opinion. It might stop them from just following each other the whole way around the sprint race.
That is true.
But anyway, we'll see what happens next week. Of course, we've got a lot to look forward to next week, and we'll just talk about that at the very end here tonight, because this is only the start of a very exciting season in the League Zero Super Formula Championship, and we've got a lot to look forward to next week. But still more to look forward to in the final 2 laps here. Jaden Callaway's not far now from the end of this race, along with Noddy ML. 2 minutes 40 left in the race, and so 2 minutes 20, left in the race-ish. If you've got that amount of push to pass remaining, it's time to put it on now and leave it on for the remainder. But it looks like ML and Callaway are still waiting. Now Callaway goes. 1 minute 40 remaining, so he's going to run out about 2/3 of the way around the last lap. That's okay, because the final couple of corners you don't really see any benefit from that push to pass anyway. Noddy ML's also on it. He's got almost exactly the same seconds, maybe a few less. He might well come unstuck towards the end, but I think the main straights, they've both got them easily covered there with push to pass. It's a straight fight between the two.
You wonder at the moment if the 11th position there of Ryan can give anyone a little bit of a tow. to Noddy, or is it going to be a little bit of a hindrance? I'd imagine he's going to be hearing on his team radio that these are the two leaders of this race are flying quickly, and there he is, completely gets out of the way, says, I don't want to be a part of this. You two go battling.
Fair play to him for that. There was a rule change, by the way, on blue flags that I was going to try and get to at some point tonight, but it's been too frantic for me to get to it. There's been a lot to talk about and a lot to enjoy here from the Red Bull Ring. And there's one more lap to go. Callaway with the fastest lap, hoping to seal that for the second race in a row. A bit wide through turn 1. That's not the exit he needed. If he wants to pass at turn 3, he's too far back.
Yeah, it's going to have to. I'm not quite sure where he can get it done on the top of the hill. Won't be here. Could be a late send up into the next turn here, but that would be definitely late. You don't really have too many opportunities to overtake on both of your left-hand corners on this track. They're both out now. Going to rely purely on driving skill. No assists available.
Callaway, of course, going to have those few extra seconds just at the very end here when Amel runs out. There you go, 3, 2, 1, but Amel still had it in towards the left-hander. There you go. It's done now for Callaway. It's done for Amel. It is a straight fight between the two for the victory in the final couple of corners, but it's so difficult to pass through this section. He's less than 3 tenths behind. He's closing in the slipstream. Does Callaway try something audacious into the final couple of corners? He can't do it through the first part of it. He can't do it through the second. And Noddy Amel is going to win race 2 in the Grand Prix of Austria. What a fantastic finish between the two. Amel survives under the pressure. Jaden Callaway seals another good load of points tonight, and he will get closer to Elliott Court at the top of the championship. But it's a win for Amel for the first time this season. His first feature race points of the season is a victory at the Red Bull Ring.
Absolutely, it's good to see back. He'll be super stoked to be back on top there. Both the Elliott show as well too. Elliott Rolls will end up getting himself into that P5 position. Then you've got to go about 14 seconds to change down the road to Nick Peterson, who did have to hold off Sajay for quite some time there. Those two Arrive and Drive Racing entrants have arrived, and they have finished as well too. So good job between them. Sajay, biggest gainer of the race too, up 17 places, and they just take each other out for good measure. Fitzsimmons will finish across there. Jace Meyer, James Turnbull, and we also got Ryan, I think, a couple of laps down as well too, but he's still going to bring it home.
Yeah, he did finish a few laps down in the end. I think 3 down on the winner. Oh no, 4 down on the winner actually in the end. But anyway, the fact he persevered, by the way, and continued on in the race, by the way, that he's sponsoring, means that he got back to where he started race number 2. So he's finished 11th in both races tonight, and he has already crossed the line, by the way. And indeed, he picked up a few extra points compared to the likes of Isidro, who retired late on, and we also saw Robert Nobles, Fabian Sanchez. So all of those guys who retired quite late on, he gained points from. And as I say, those singular points that you get for those lower positions could even be crucial by the end of the season because of the point system here, which is means that you really do have to properly race through and race hard for even the singular points down the bottom. But what a great race that was, and what a great finish between Jaden Callaway and Noddy Amel. They finished 4 tenths apart at the line, as you can see in the race results, with Adam Merchant on the podium with them. Elliott Court and Elliott Rolls round out the top 5, with Nick Peterson, Saji Zuhair coming across the line as we saw as well. Fitzsimmons and Meyer weren't that far behind them. Turnbull was running at the top 10, and Brian Thibault, the last driver, to finish. Then Fabian Sanchez, Nicholas Isidro, Robert Nobles and Ray Aguilar inside the top 15. Carlos Balinas, Ignacio Gorkovitz, Austin Thomas, Antonio Bianchi, Gonzalo Pia Perez, Arturo Mayorga, Guillermo Parry, Gareth McAllister and Xavier Sinead, the last 4 of which retired on the opening lap. They were out of the race before it's finished, unfortunately. So that's just about it from us here from the Red Bull Ring. What a couple of races that was, Biggles. I mean, 2 great finishes. Unfortunately for Callaway, he was on the wrong side of both of them, finished his second twice, but it's not too bad in terms of points for him. He won't be too displeased about that. I think the real story today is that Noddy Amel is back. It's been a while since he's taken a win, and he had to survive a lot of pressure there to win that feature.
He's back and back with a vengeance, exactly. Not handed to him at all, had to fight for it too for now. Where are we heading to next, my friend? Well, October the 16th. Oh, sorry, actually, I forgot. We've got October the 9th, of course. We're going to a new track here at Motodroma Hermanas Rodriguez, my friend, in Mexico.
absolutely. It's October 9th. Make sure you join us next week. We're racing every week, actually, until Thanksgiving. So make sure you continue to join us throughout. And then that week, of course, before the finale at Watkins Glen at the end of the season. But yeah, the New Mexico circuit. It's the Salsa Verde Grand Prix of Mexico, presented by Inca Salsa by Ricardo Espino, who hopefully will be here on that night. Got a lot to look forward to next week at Mexico. We'll ask some of the drivers about that as we interview a couple of them as well. Adam Merchant, at least, has got himself into the waiting room. We'll chat to him as well. Adam, welcome in. Good to have you with us, and congrats on a double podium for you tonight. Tell us first of all about race number 1 and how you were able to hold on to the victory. Was it as comfortable in those last laps as it looked?
Not necessarily, and thank you guys for the broadcast. I had a slowdown in the first race, and I lost the lead to Jaden there. But he was trying to not necessarily defend and focus on keeping the gap to Nadi. So I just used the push, got back up in front, and it was pretty much it. You have to push at full pelt to keep the car behind, but it's kind of hard with the dirty air. So it ended up being all right.
And in race number 2, I mean, you must be displeased with your spin, of course, but must be pleasing to see your speed and ability to overtake after that, because we can credit you with 11 places gained compared to when you had that spin to where you ended up on the podium. So mixed emotions, is it, after race 2?
Yeah, that was definitely really fun once I could start clawing back, but a really silly mistake. There was a little bit of gravel at the exit of turn 4. Caught me out, and I completely lost the car. Couldn't even catch it. Had to do a 360 and lost so much time. But yeah, I mean, got to reel down Elliott. He was like 10 seconds in front, and then we actually had some great racing. So a lot of respect to him there. We were side by side for a good chunk of the lap. I think y'all are showing it. So yeah, good racing, Elliott.
Yeah, it was a great fun battle to watch actually for us as well. And just one last one before we let you go. And speak to Elliot actually, who's waiting for us. Are we going to be seeing you enough this season to sort of be a championship contender again, or are you taking a bit of a back seat this season? What's the plan for you?
Well, I definitely plan to race as much as I can, pending any travel. So I don't have any big plans for the foreseeable future, so I should be able to be here for the rest of the year. I think I'll go to the Formula 1 race in Circuit of the Americas, so I might miss Thursday, be driving down that day, but aside from that, should be here.
Well, we look forward to seeing you, of course, starting next week at the Mexican Grand Prix circuit, which should be a fun one to see for the first time in this series. Thanks for chatting to us, as always, Adam, and congrats on a double podium tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate the broadcast. Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much. That is Adam Merchant, who joins us with his double podium tonight from the Redbull ring. Elliot Court has joined us, but also Elliot Rolls as well, who's got in the top 5 tries. So we'll chat to him first.
Hello.
Sorry.
Sorry. Wrong Elliot.
Interrupting conversations again. Elliot Rolls, welcome in. Good to have you with us. 2 top 5s right? For you tonight. How are you feeling at the end of that one? A couple of top 5s for you.
I did not expect anything out of that race. I'm very happy with the result. Redbull Ring has always been one of my worst tracks in the service, so I'm actually shocked I was in the top 5.
And of course, able to benefit from the reverse grid for race number 2 and try and hold on to the lead. But what was it like being up there with the front guys trying to hold on for the start of the race, especially?
I'm sorry about that. I accidentally stood up and knocked my cable out. Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Yes, that's all right. What was it like starting from the second race from pole and sort of battling with the top guys at a circuit you don't really enjoy?
It's always fun. I was just trying to let them by. Just let them by. I heard my teammate getting murdered all the time, so I was just trying to chill out.
It's a very, respectable strategy. I don't blame you at all, to be honest, given the guys who were around. One more before we let you go, by the way. The Mexican Grand Prix circuit, Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, is next week. Are we going to be seeing you there, and what are your thoughts on the new track?
I like it. It's a technical track, which I always love, except Red Bull Ring, it sucks. But anyway, yes, I love the technical tracks. Long straight should be good for passing. It'll be fun. Nobody knows the track. Nobody has experience. It'll be good. And I'll be there.
It always makes for better racing as well when no one knows. So we look forward to seeing you there, Elliot, in a week. But thanks for chatting to us again, and congrats on 2 top 5s tonight.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you.
Thanks so much. That's Elliot Rolls, who finishes in the top 5 twice. In fact, 5th place twice here tonight. And I'm about to interrupt their conversation again because Elliot Court can now join us as well. Elliot, welcome in. Good to have you with us as well. How are you feeling at the end of that race? Because, I said to Adam after race number 2 that he must be pleased with the way he came back through the field, although frustrated with the mistake. Is that how you feel at the end of your races tonight? Mistake in race 1, but great run back through the field as well from you.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good run back. Just, if I didn't make that mistake, could have been very different, the result, more points and whatnot. But yeah, I'll take it. I just tried to stay out of trouble starting so far back in the feature. Then just make my way back up through the grid. And yeah, got 4th. Could have been 3rd. Was a brilliant battle of Adam. Like, that's one of the coolest battles I've ever had. But yeah, I'll take a P4. I think it's still top of the championship, I believe. But yeah.
Yeah, it should be because the next 3 drivers behind you didn't finish 2 of them didn't start, two of the 4 behind you didn't finish the feature race, and 2 of them didn't start it. So you will be fine in terms of keeping the championship lead for now. But how was your battle with Adam there towards the end? That was maybe a preview into what we can see later on this season between the 2 of you, because you'll both be up there fighting for the title, or indeed at least individual races. What was that fight for 3rd like towards the end?
Yeah, it was brilliant, honestly. I mean, I saw him closing. He was so much quicker than me at that stage of the race. But yeah, I mean, going into it, I hadn't done a lot of practice and whatnot, and I never normally go well around this track. But so I knew he was going to catch up to me. So it was just kind of like waiting, and then when he got there, I just had to try and hold on. But yeah, that move around the outside of the middle part of the track, the infield, that was. Yeah, he was brave going around the outside. They would nearly made contact, but yeah, great move from him.
It was absolutely fantastic to watch. So just showing a replay of it now. Actually, it was brilliant to watch. Ostromo Hermanos Rodriguez next week. Are we going to be seeing you there? What are your thoughts on the Mexican Grand Prix circuit?
Yeah, I'll be there. Should be there. But yeah, it's a track I've never run in these cars before. I don't even own right now, so. It's new added to iRacing for this season a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, it could be interesting. I don't really know what's going to happen. Big long back straight could make it interesting. Yeah,
it's always fun on a new circuit, I've got to say, from a spectator's point of view. So we're looking forward to it. But thanks for chatting to us tonight, Elliot, and congrats on a double top 10 for you tonight.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Thanks very much. That's Elliot Court, who finishes, as I say, in the top 10 twice, once in 4th place here tonight from the Redbull Ring. I think the one thing we can take away more than anything from those conversations, Biggles, is first of all that people don't like driving the Redbull Ring, even if it does produce very good racing. That's number one. But second of all, there's a lot of apprehension and unknowns going into next week.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, I guess that I don't like driving this track, but it's absolutely always cracking entertainment every time I come here as a producer. Ewan, and I'm sure you come here as well to calling all the races. But yeah, absolutely unknown. I have to download the track as well too. So it seems like a lot of the drivers have to, we'll buy it and then download it, and then of course they got to get out there and do all the practice. So I have to just add a couple of AI cars into there and make sure that all the cameras are pointing at the right corners and all that sort of jazz. Ewan, so lots of many unknowns. But certainly looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm going to be praying for your PC through the final stadium section, because that could be quite heavy. I'm not sure how detailed they've modelled it actually, and how strenuous that could be. But anyway, I know that on my system in iRacing, if I heard that circuit was driving it, I would be. It would not appear in the same way that when I do Daytona, the grandstand doesn't appear. Because I've got the graphics settings low. But anyway, that will be a point of contention for the drivers next week as well. But anyway, we'll bring it to you live here, of course, on the JPH channel, as we do every Thursday night here in the League Zero Super Formula Championship, every single week until Thanksgiving, before we have a week off before our finale from Watkins Glen. It's going to be a great season. Make sure you join us throughout all of it. We're barely even scratching the surface. Join us next week from the Ostromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Myself and Biggles will be there for that one. But for now, from us, from the Redbull Ring here on the JFB YouTube channel, we'll see you in a week's time at Mexico. Goodbye for now.